everybody. Welcome to Best and Worst. This is a series we do every week where we talk about our favorite and least favorite films from one of our favorite stars. And this is something we do in conjunction with the Hidden Gems podcast. If you like what we have to say in this shorter segment, check out the longer podcast. I think you'll really enjoy it. Film critic Rachel Wagner and Ryan is here.
Hey, Rachel, so great to be with you once again. And today we're going to be talking about the best and worst from Jon Favreau, who has had his misses, but when he hits, oh, he really
Yeah.
hits.
Yes, it was very difficult for me to decide what to talk about with this. I pretty much have a tie, so I might cheat a little bit on my best. But let's dive in. Let you go first. What is your favorite film from director Jon Favreau?
So, my favorite film from Jon Favreau is a movie that was clearly a very big passion project for him. He wrote it, produced it, directed it, and starred in it. It is from 2013 and it is called Chef. This tells the story of, well, a chef named Chef Carl Casper, who works at a very prestigious restaurant in Los Angeles, and he feels creatively very stifled. But after a series of unfortunate events involving a very viral accident, he ends up fired and basically at a very low point. He's divorced from his wife, he's estranged from his son, he pretty much has nothing. But then he starts to build himself up and, well, establish a pretty popular food truck in response. And there he finally gets his creative freedom back and he starts to make great food again. Uh, I have a bit of a conspiracy theory when it comes to this movie, in that this is, in a weird roundabout way, Jon Favreau kind of venting his frustrations about Iron Man 3 into this movie because he was working at a very prestigious company, Disney. He was ousted, and then him directing Chef was, in a weird roundabout way, him building himself back up and finding the creative juices that he once had. He himself is really good in this movie. He has a very visceral performance, and he has a great scene where he is talking to his son, and he basically explains why he is a chef, and he's like, this is the one thing that I am good at. I'm a terrible father and a even worse I am a terrible husband and an even worse father, but when I am behind that line, I am absolutely golden. And I'm paraphrasing, but the scene is excellent.
Mhm.
And then, of course, it's a pretty loaded cast. John Leguizamo's in it. He's great. Scarlett Johansson's in there. Oliver Platt is in there. Even Robert Downey Jr. is in there for one scene, and it is amazing. I will not spoil it, but it's Robert Downey Jr., so anything he touches turns to gold.
Mhm.
But this is a movie that I saw many times. I didn't even see it in theaters, but I bought the DVD and I watched it too many times to mention. It's a very big passion project for Jon Favreau, and he nailed it.
Don't watch this movie hungry. You will be in agony because everything looks so delicious.
Especially
And
for Cuban sandwiches.
yeah. It looks so good. And yeah, this is one of my favorite movies involving food. It's also about what you put your passion behind, what you put your life work into. And his relationship with his son is so sweet in the film. And yeah, I really enjoy it. Of course, Scarlett Johansson's really nice in it. For my best, I'm torn between Elf, which as a Christmas movie lover, I love, and I think it is so funny. I mean,
No
it just
way.
yeah, it just nails all of the humor. Like when he goes into the coffee shop with sort of the generic world's best coffee or whatever, and he's like, "Congratulations, you did it!"
World's best cup of coffee. You did it.
And just so many of the jokes I think really work, and every single person in the cast plays it straight. Like there's no sense of sort of like Mary Steenburgen is so good in it, and I love James Caan. He's perfect as his dad. He's really funny, and so I love Elf. I watch it every year, and I laugh and laugh. But then how can you not talk about Iron Man when you're talking about the best of Jon Favreau? I mean, it's one of the best comic book movies ever made. If you ask me, still one of the best of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And the journey that Tony goes on from being this capitalist without caring about anybody, selling these weapons and everything, to him being in that cave and the transformation that he undergoes is just really great. And by the end, you're just so rooting for him, and it's fantastic. And his journey as he continues to change throughout the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe till Endgame is just, I think, is brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, I'll talk about Elf first because it's one of my all-time favorite Christmas movies. I watch it every year. I mean, I'm very hot and cold when it comes to Will Ferrell, but here he absolutely nails it. I can't hate any movie with Bob Newhart in it. He is an absolute legend.
Yeah.
And speaking of legends, James Caan, who
Yeah.
is the perfect straight man to all of Buddy's antics. There's a great scene where Mary Steenburgen and him are fighting, and she's like, "What do you want us to do? Throw him out in the snow?" And James Caan's like, "He loves snow. He told me 10,000 times today." It's a great scene,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
and Peter Dinklage is in there too, and he's really fun as well.
Yeah.
And
That's
and
true.
in terms of Iron Man, the MCU is very underrated when it comes to its storytelling. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's just the same movie every time." No, it's not. It's a
That's
long-term
bogus.
it's a long-term story. And it all started with Iron Man. No matter how crazy the MCU got with Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet and everything involving time, which were being promised in the new Doctor Strange, it all began with Iron Man, with Jeeps in the Afghanistan desert, and in a very personal story involving Tony Stark going from, like you said, Rachel, a egotistical, very egotistical, terrible human being, losing everything and then gaining it all back. It's like the Job story in the Bible or the ultimate phoenix metaphor. It's one of those movies that is just, it never gets old. And no matter how crazy the MCU gets or how how higher the stakes get, I'll always say it had a great foundation with the original Iron Man.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. Well, we had the same worst of John Favreau since we spent so long talking about the best.
Let's say it together on three,
Yes.
okay? One,
One.
two, three. The
The
Lion
Lion
King.
King. Yes. So, The Lion King 2019, I remember I saw it in the theater and I just thought, why is this a thing? It is exactly the same movie as the original film, except for you have like a montage of his fur flying through the air that's extra long. There was just nothing that it gave of any value. Even I thought, well, they're going to give Beyonce like a new plot line for a new song because new song. They didn't. Her song is just like when they're walking. It's not even like a good song. It's not even an impactful song. This movie is nothing. It is completely bland and there's no emotion. There's no nothing to these characters because they look so real that it just feels weird and you don't get any emotion in the eyes, you don't get any emotion in the face like you do for an actual I mean like you do in the anime classic. It just feels weird and it's just bad. It's such an unnecessary bland movie.
Yeah, and when I prepare to do these videos, I look through the actors or directors' filmography on IMDb, and looking through Favreau's filmography, like this is the absolute worst movie
Yeah.
he has ever directed because Iron Man 2 is my least favorite of the MCU, but at least it moved the story along and it introduced new like wrinkles into characters that we know.
Yeah, and it has
Cowboy
like a couple fun action sequences at the racing track is kind of fun. Like there's a few things that you got the introduction of Black Widow. There's a few things that are fun in that movie. This is just nothing.
yeah, Cowboys and Aliens, which I mean, it wasn't
Yeah.
especially amazing, but at least it had Daniel Craig and Harrison Ford, and it had some pretty good action in there.
Yeah.
Like, but this just felt like he was just like, okay, as soon as I get paid for this, then I can go do something that I want. It's like when Michael Bay directed Transformers movies number 3, number 4, and number 5. If I do these, then I can have enough money to go do something that I want. And it just feels complete. The Lion King 2019 feels completely unnecessary to me. And
Mhm.
you were talking about that montage. A little bit of Simba's hair falls on, well, a giraffe piece of feces. That's definitely not a metaphor for something at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he gave an interview before this movie where he's like, oh, this is going to be our own take. It's not going to be a shot for shot remake. And I was just thinking, how could you say that?
In
Like,
the
are you
word
kidding me?
in the words of total legend Maury Povich, the lie detector test determined that was a lie.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Very good. Very good. Well, there you go. So that is our best and worst of Jon Favreau. Let us know what you would pick. Maybe you love The Lion King. Let's hear your defense in the comments section.
Oh,
And
I would love to hear this.
yes, please. I know it had its fans. It made tons of money. So, go figure. But I'd say go watch Lady and the Tramp instead if you have to watch a remake. But that's just me. Put in the comment section what you think of our best and worst. What would be your best and worst? We'd love to hear it. And so, Ryan, where can people find you?
They can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at RyanCam20, and then there's my YouTube channel, just Ryan Cam. Uh, the AFI project is back in full swing. Today is a Monday when we're recording this. That means my episode on Midnight Cowboy has dropped. On Wednesday, I'll be releasing my episode for the Philadelphia story, and then on Friday, I'll be releasing my episode on Shane, one of my all-time favorites. And then I'm starting up a new series where I'll be reviewing every episode of The Mandalorian from season 2. That's going to go up Friday mornings. And so if you all haven't checked me out, please do. I put a lot of time and hard work into the channel. I humbly ask that you give me a chance.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody subscribe. It's so good. So yeah, and you can follow me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So please check that out. And please check out the Hallmarkies podcast. I've been working really hard on that right now. So I would really appreciate it. We also have our patron group, which is so much fun to participate in patron watch-alongs, which are super fun, and lots of other good stuff. We also have our merch store, which has tons of festive designs. So please take a look at that. And so thanks so much, everybody. And we'll talk to you all later. Bye, everyone.
Bye.